Hey knitters, welcome to episode 207 of the Knitty McPurly podcast. I am your host, Devin Bentry. You can find me at KnittyMcPurly.com. I am Knitty McPurly on Instagram. And if you want to email me, I am Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. Welcome to the podcast. Please subscribe if you are new. To everyone else, welcome back. Look at this mug that my mom got me for Christmas. If you are not aware, I have a dog who is a blind Boston Terrier. His name is Rocky, and I have drawn him as a mermaid, and I have stickers and pins to that effect in my shop. So Rocky is a murdog, and here he has eyes. My dog, Rocky, does not have eyes because he was born blind. But anyway, I opened this and I was like, oh. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Is this not the best week of the whole year? The week between Christmas and New Year's is probably my favorite week of the whole year. And this is right in the middle of it. So welcome. I'm so happy you're here. Get your knitting, get your tea, and let's chat. I am wearing the gilded sweater, which is a Knitty McPurly pattern. You can tell it's been folded up in my drawer for a little bit. If you have been a longtime watcher of the podcast, you remember this mistake. I don't remember what episode we fixed that on, but this is a sport weight sweater and it's super comfortable. Like there's a lot of space in it and the sleeves have a lot of space. When your sweater has a lot of space in the sleeves, it just gives you more room overall and it just makes it more comfortable. So this has a nice bishop sleeve on it and it has a lot of space. It's the kind of thing where if you want to knit color work for a little while and then you don't want to knit it anymore, it's a great project for that. I made mine out of Knitty McPurly Athens alpaca, which is a sport weight alpaca yarn that feels just like the Fiber Company Road to China Light, if you remember that yarn. I don't know if that is still something that the Fiber Company makes, but I remember going into a yarn store like 2010-ish and feeling that yarn and thinking, this is the most amazing yarn I have ever felt in my life. And so when I got my hands on the Athens alpaca, I was like, yes, this is it. This is the thing. It's so soft and it's warm and it's just got like a, I don't know, it's got a slight halo to it, not like mohair, but a little bit. But anyway, this pattern is available over on my website if you're interested in making that. I made mine in Trinket and Beryl and Frost. So let's move right along to progress and shop news. All right, folks, needles up. If I had needles right here, I would have them in my hand. I do actually in my project bag, but I don't want to show you my project yet. Needles up because the League of Extraordinary Sock Knitters is kicking off on January 1st, which I believe is on Wednesday, right? Christmas was on a Wednesday, so I think New Year's Day is on a Wednesday. So get your needles ready to cast on the January sock with the League of Extraordinary Sock Knitters. I got so many great comments from those of you who received your sock box and were just so happy. I am so happy. Like I can't tell you just how excited I am to have put that together and for it to have come out so great. Like you always hope everything will come together perfectly and beautifully, and this just super did. Fun fact, Summer Lee sent me an Instagram message. She was like, hey, I heard that you were doing this. That is so great. She's like, let me know if you need anything from me. So if anybody has any questions for Summer, I know how to get in touch with her. She was super nice, super friendly. She was very excited that we're doing this. I was like, yeah, people are really pumped for it. The book looks great. We're all really excited for it. A good friend of mine, her daughter has recently started knitting and she got in on the sock club. And when she was explaining it to non-knitters, they were like, wait a minute, how much does it cost? And you don't actually get the socks, you just get the stuff to make the socks, and you have to buy a book? You know, non-knitters, they don't understand. They don't get it. They don't get that knitting is about the experience of it. It's great in the end, and you want the great yarn for the experience of the knitting, and you also want it for the finished product that will last a lifetime, and hopefully multiple lifetimes if cared for properly. I gotta turn off this light because it's driving me crazy. Okay, sorry, maybe that's a little bit darker, but it was shining right in my face. So anyway, I thought that was hilarious. You know how the muggles are? Like, they just don't get it. They're like, why? The Facebook group is up and running. If you are a member of the League of Extraordinary Sock Knitters, you have to be a member. And you are more than welcome to knit along with us if you want, but being a member means having purchased the kit. If you have purchased the kit and you want in on the Facebook group, go and join the most wonderful Ohioan, Emily. And that's saying a lot because Ohio is one of my most popular states. I ship more yarn to Ohio than any other state. Anyway, Emily, who is from Ohio, is amazing. She is running this Facebook group for me, and she is just so epic. So I think she sent out an email. If you're having any problems getting in, ask Emily. You could ask me, but I would just go, I don't know. But Emily, I think, probably does know. So you just have to request to get in the group, and then Emily will let you in. Facebook groups are like, Soviet Russia, or, they're very draconian. I don't really understand them. There's a lot of rules. You can get kicked off for any reason. We will not kick you out. Fun fact, I had to become Emily's Facebook friend so that we could co-run this group, which really just means Emily is running it, but my picture is in there too, I guess. And I was like, look, I'll be your Facebook friend. And she is my only Facebook friend, and only for this purpose. Not because I don't love Emily, but just because you guys know how I feel about Facebook friends. Like, it's Pandora's box. Yeah, so if you don't know the secret handshake, you can't get in. Ask Emily. She is the guru. So I cannot wait to see your socks. It is going to be amazing. Okay. Moving right along to the Advent calendar. We have gotten through our full Knitty McPurly Advent calendar. I cannot wait to see what you guys make with this. Some of you, I just got an email from somebody who forgot to attach the picture. Some of you I have seen like works in progress, but here is the picture of the final Advent calendar. You can see the fade, but I also took some liberties in the fade to stick with the theme, to progress from dark to light, through the different nebulas, through deep space. I had to take some liberties with, it's not a strict fade, but this is what it is. I hope you love it if you got one. Many, many of you did. I think it turned out amazing. I can't wait to see what you guys make with it. Use the hashtag KMP Creator of the Universe Advent on Instagram so we can all go and see those. January's color of the month is in the cooker right now, and so that will be available around January 1st. It might be a little bit late. It's been kind of busy, but it is coming. Very excited to show you that. Okay, last thing I want to mention is that the retreat, the Knitty McPurly retreat in Dallas, Texas, is 33 days away. What? I can't believe it. It is so exciting. So on the 24th, Christmas Eve, I sent out an email to all the attendees, but a lot of people didn't get it. So that led me down a rabbit hole. It led me and my tech support down a rabbit hole where we learned that if you send a message from Outlook to Gmail, you can't send more than one. So like 60 people did not get the email. Okay, why that is a thing, I don't know. To me, that seems like something that just should not be allowed. Anyway, I was able to, my tech support was able to identify the problem, and I sent out an email to my Gmail subscribers from my Gmail account on the 26th. So everyone should have gotten that email by now. It has all of the retreat information, all the class information, the homework, and what classes people wanted to take. Many, many of you responded to me to tell me that you got the email. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. That really helps me to verify that people are getting it. If you are signed up for the retreat and you have not gotten any emails from me, send me an email, because you should have. Everyone by now should have gotten an email. If your inbox is full, it will reject more email. You can't just receive a million. I know it takes up actual space, I guess. I don't know. Feels like it should all be up in the cloud. It's just floating around up there. Why can't it be unlimited? I don't know. Anyway, I will go through all of your replies later today. Many of you wanted to change a class or add a class or whatnot, so I will go through and make all those changes, and then I will get you an updated copy of that document so that you'll have all the information. Okay, yeah, hopefully you have your plane tickets and your days off and your hotel reservations. If you don't have those, go make those right now, or coming soon. Hotel reservation, you need to make it right now. You don't actually, your credit card isn't charged until you check out, I think. So just make your reservation so that your room is held. It's so exciting, you guys. 33 days. I am so excited to see many of you again, to meet some of you for the first time. It is going to be so much fun. The classes are amazing. I have just the best volunteers teaching these classes. We've got steeking and brioche and crochet and sock techniques. We have watercolor wool greeting cards. We have knitting with beads. Did I leave anything out? I'm teaching math for knitters, which I am determined to make fun. This is not going to be a boring math class. I am determined to make it fun. So it's going to be great. Hopefully I didn't leave anybody out, but it's brioche, I say brioche. It's going to be amazing. I'm so pumped for that. Okay, you might have noticed that I am not wearing a new sweater this week. Like, finally. So what did I do? What have I been working on? Well, you may remember that back in September, I planned to knit a Benedicta in River Rock and September's color of the month, which coordinates very well with River Rock. I love this combination of colors, and I want to show you just how the color of the month works up. I'm not super far, and I don't have anything to stop the stitches from falling off the needles. So let's see. I'll try my best here to show you. There. It just is so great. I just love it. It's gonna be so great. I have wanted this for a really long time. This is my third Benedicta, which is a Christianity-inspired colorwork sweater. It has many symbols of Christianity, including stained glass windows, crosses. We have bauble trinities. It's hard to see when it's all tight on the needles here. I'm really ready to go to a bigger needle. We've got M for Jesus's mother, Mary. It is, gosh darn, I lost one. Oh, I lost a couple. Let me just stick those back on now because that would be a pain later. It's a pain when it's color work. Okay, so this is underway, you guys. I'm probably a little more than halfway through the yoke, and then hopefully by next week I will have split for the sleeves and you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But that is really fun. That's a pattern that's available over on my website. It is DK weight, 2 colors. It has color work throughout with some sections of non-color work. But it's a really fun knit. It's a great sweater to wear because it's very wearable. The ones that I have made end right at the hip bone. That's like my favorite sweater ending spot. But you can knit it a little bit longer. You can make it cropped. They look great over dresses. It's a really fun sweater. So that has been really fun. That's what I have been working on. Okay, the comment section. All right. Lefty Crochets and Mirror Knits says, Devin, when you said use a Sharpie, I laughed out loud. Most of the comments were about the needles or the Sharpie. A lot of people had comments about the Sharpie and it was really positive. Most people were like, I've done that, or I would do that. I love fixing stuff with Sharpies, and I'm a little bit brave about it. I think you can blend a lot of things. Anyway, she says, I was watching a YouTube live a number of months ago when one of the hosts ran out of hand-dyed yarn during the bind-off. She used another colorway from the same dyer and used Sharpie on it. The dyer was in the chat and used the moment as a way to friendly tease her. That is genius. I would never even think to do that. That is so smart. Katie B. Gryffindor Chaser says, I'm winding my sock league set as I watch. It is so fun with all the colors and above and beyond for a sock club set. Thank you so much, Katie. I humbly agree with you. I think it is amazing. It just came out so good. I'm working on February right now, and that is gearing up to be just as good. Can't wait. Sharon says, wow, another vest. It is vest season. I'll start my Timbo after Christmas. I've been so busy with Christmas music and special church services. There hasn't been much knitting time. I like Chow circulars too. I also like Haya Haya bamboo circulars. I've never tried those. She says the cords have memory, but they're very flexible and they swivel at the join. That is nice. When you have a cord with memory that is kinked, soak it in a bowl of hot water to warm it up and then take it out and hold it taut until it cools. That usually takes the kink out. Super smart. Several people made comments that were similar to that. That is super helpful. I never thought of that. You guys are so smart. This podcast is so helpful to me. Karista says, love the Sharpie trick. Back when we didn't have a lot of money and my husband's work pants were fading on the folds, like the hem and the zipper area, I used a Sharpie to help renew them for longer life. I even wrote about it in a permanent marker contest and won a large set of Bic permanent markers. That is awesome. You really can fix a lot of stuff with a good permanent marker, and a set would be a good thing to invest in. Apparently Bic has a set because you want to have all the colors. And like I said, I know I have a brown Sharpie here somewhere, but I live with a lot of Sharpie thieves. So it's hard for me to keep a hold of a Sharpie. Kat Ardiff says, Sharpies have saved more than one of my high heels. I used to wear black dress high heels when working retail back in the day, and I'd accidentally step into a crack in the pavement and the heel would get an ugly nick down to the plastic. Black Sharpie to the rescue. I have done that too, definitely, for sure. And Pink of Us says, Devin, I too have used Sharpie on yarn. I had a shawl that ended with over 400 stitches with an I-cord bind off, and I pulled it out 3 times because I ran out of yarn. I kept pulling out extra rows, binding off again, and still coming up short. In the end, I gave up, grabbed another hand-dyed yarn, and Sharpied it up for the last 10 inches of the bind off. I think it passes. That is so great. You guys are so smart. Dilly Dahlia says, when you were talking about the tonality of hand-dyed yarns and fixing stitches that stand out too much, I had a feeling from your lead up that you were going to say Sharpie. LOL. I love Sharpies for stuff like that, but I'm like you and I absolutely love the variation in hand-dyed yarns, especially yours. Thank you so much. That is so kind of you. She says, they are so perfect. I avoid yarns that are completely uniform and flat in color. Boring. I so super agree with you. When I first started knitting and I discovered Madeline Tosh, I was like, I'm in. Hand dyed all day long. And I'm not saying I would never use, a machine dyed yarn, but just the flatness of the color is just uninteresting to me. It has its place. I'm not going to throw it out completely, but in my humble opinion, hand dyed is better. Pandemic Knitter, hi Beth, says, hi Devin, Merry Christmas. When you were talking about variation in color on hand-dyed yarn, I thought you were going to suggest duplicate stitching over the offending color blips. You already have the yarn in the color you want, but you might not have the right color Sharpie. You are more courageous with permanent ink than I am. Well, Beth, that is my business. I put permanent dye on yarn. So maybe that's why I'm more willing to do it, but that is a great suggestion. If you're working with a color that you don't have the Sharpie to go with, or you don't want to wait to go out and buy that color, you could do duplicate stitch. If you had, a one stitch, or just, if you're duplicate stitching, you could really do it over any number of stitches if you're willing. But again, unless it's particularly egregious, if you have it in a place where you don't want the eye to go and you feel that the eye is going there, this is a situation in which I would do that. Most of the time, I would just say, I love it. I love the variety. Just lean into it. Yarn Chicken, hi Tara, says, if you are looking for a good workhorse, super bulky acrylic yarn, I highly recommend Bernat Softy Chunky. It is one of my go-to yarns for crocheting anything in super bulky. Lots of color and it holds up really well. I have crocheted tons of blankets in it and haven't had any pilling. That is a really good recommendation. If you have done it a lot and it hasn't pilled for you, that means a lot because like I said, Gigi has done a bunch of blankets in Hobby Lobby. It was like a Yarn Bee acrylic and it just doesn't wear well. It pills and the ends don't stay woven in, like it doesn't have enough tooth to hold the ends in when you weave them in. It's been a little frustrating because she put so much work and love into these blankets and some of them just haven't held up. All right, moving right along to knitting fantasies. Today's knitting fantasies all come from Charlotte Stone of Stone Knits on Etsy. And I picked a bunch of socks. Since we are going into the year of socks, I thought, let's pick some good sock patterns. This lady has some amazing sock patterns. The first one that I picked is called Herding Cats. This is so cute. It's just adorable. So if you have a background color, you probably want most of a full skein of a background color. And then you could just use scraps to knit the cats because that is not going to take very much yarn. Probably 10 grams or less and you'd be able to do the cats. She's done these in kind of realistic believable cat colors, but you could do them in any color you want. Those are great for any cat lover. This one is called Whimsical Christmas and it comes with two patterns. One is like a cardinal with color work and the other one is Gingerbread Man. This is so cute and it's under $7 for two patterns. That's a really good deal. That's a good bargain because there are other patterns that are only singular patterns are just under $6. My next pick from Charlotte Stone is the Cups of Hot Cocoa socks. Look how cute these are. I feel like we can still knit these. We don't have to say it's not Christmas anymore, so we have to be done with Christmassy knits. Hot chocolate is good through March. That's what I say. I love that these socks have some kind of a rib in them and these adorable candy cane stripes. They are so cute. And some of the cups have smiley faces or snowflake patterns. Just so cute. My final pick from this designer is probably one that you've seen before because this pattern has been popular over the years. This is the Magical Mycelium socks. And she has knit these, I'm not exactly sure what she used, but there's something with a halo in there, like a mohair. You can knit socks with mohair. Mohair holds up really well in socks. You can't, I don't think Surrey silk is the same. Like a lot of times mohair and Surrey silk are kind of interchangeable, but with socks, I would definitely pick mohair over Surrey silk. That's a little aside to talk about these socks. I think these would be really cute in a yarn that doesn't have a halo also because the mushrooms would stand out even more. They're just so cute. Anyway, all these are linked below. They're all on Etsy and they are a really good price. Okay, finally, for today, we have a heartbreaking story. Today's story is heartbreaking, and it is from a lovely podcast watcher named Patty. Hi, Patty. Patty sent this to me over a month ago, and that is how many stories I got all at one time. So that is great. I don't think I have a million more though. So if you have a knitting story, send it to me. Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. I would love to feature your story on the podcast. Okay, so this is from Patty. She says, okay, I have always enjoyed crafts. My mom sewed our clothes and my grandma made quilts. Well, in high school, we had classes on sewing, cooking, and embroidery, and I loved it. So once I graduated, I took a knitting, crocheting, and embroidery class at the community place. So once I finished, I thought I would knit my husband an Alaska sweater. Something like this one, but I had 3 different colors. My teacher was really impressed, but it was too big. Now, we were 20 years old and didn't have a lot of money, and I had spent so much time working on this beautiful sweater for Patty's husband. So when he told me he wouldn't wear it because it was too big, it broke my heart. I worked so hard, and he stood there saying that it's too big, so I won't wear it. Now, I had to know how to frog it because it was knitted with lopi. If you're not familiar, lopi is an unspun yarn from Iceland. It's very delicate. You can just pull it apart, but it's very, very warm and soft. Patty says, with a broken heart, I put it in the Goodwill bag, and since then, I have never knitted a garment. I was only 20 years old, and I am 68 years old now. I will do socks for myself and do hats. For the longest time, I only did scarves and cowls. I'm afraid to try to make a garment now. I know how to do gauge, and I do gauge for hats and socks. I've bought patterns and I've started them, but I rip them out because I'm afraid the size won't come out right. And then I won't wear it after all the work and time I put into it, not to mention the money that I spent. Well, that is my story. Thank you for your wonderful podcast. I look forward to watching them every week. Patricia. So in her email it says Patty, but she signed it Patricia. And I responded to her and I said, Patty, oh my gosh, this is heartbreaking. We have got to get you knitting sweaters. Remember what idiots all 20-year-olds are. 20-year-olds are idiots. You have 48 more years of wisdom and experience now. So here's what you should do. This is what I wrote to Patty. Go find a sweater pattern for yourself that lights you up inside. Then knit a gauge swatch, then knit the sweater. Maybe pick a top-down sweater so that you can try it on. Then you will be a successful sweater knitter. Jordan Peterson calls this exposure therapy, and it will heal you and that terrible, terrible memory. And she responded. Let me see, what did Patty say? Oh, I thought she did respond. Okay, I don't have it right here, but I hope that she will. Leave a comment to encourage Patty to try a sweater, because especially a top-down sweater, because you can try it on as you go, and if it doesn't fit, you'll know it, and then you just have to rip back a little bit. Come on, Patty, you can do this. You can do it. I had something similar happen to me when I first got married, and those things cut deep, because it's the first time you've done something like that for your new husband, and when they respond in a way that is like that, it just cuts your heart right open. I understand. I get that. But we can come back from it. We don't have to live there. So that's Patty's story. Please leave her a comment to encourage her. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you have a wonderful New Year. I hope you'll celebrate the 12 days of Christmas and enjoy it all with your family and your knitting. And I will see you here next week. Bye, knitters.